she wasn't meant to pick her partner. Um, a lot of women these days, they pick the guys they want to date, they pick the guys they want to marry, and you notice how almost all of the relationships kind of like go down the drain. I'm going to go into why that is, right? Back in the day, a woman, I'm talking way back in the day. I'm talking like 15, 16, 17, 1800s, like 1864, back in the day. Women didn't choose the men they married. They didn't date. Dating wasn't really a thing. Back in the day, a woman's father picked the man that she would marry, right? And that man had to come to the table with he had to come to the table with resources. He had to show that he's a responsible man. He had to win the father's approval over, and then he would give his daughter over to that man to marry. Now, in Western society, they look down on this concept, right? It's like crazy. Like, what? The father gives his daughter away? It's crazy, right? But it's actually not. Here's why that actually makes a lot of sense, right? When a woman chooses a man, she's usually focusing on superficial qualities. Oh, he's tall, he's handsome, he's muscular, he's popular in the city, he has a lot of Instagram followers. They usually pick men for superficial reasons, that aren't really going to be beneficial to her, right? She can't really do a whole lot with those things. Yeah, that's good for reproduction, that's good for having, cute kids or whatever, but women aren't good at picking a man that they can tell is really serious about them and isn't going to take them on a wild goose chase and use them and pump and dump them and discard them like so many women end up getting used. See, back in the day, the father, here's the thing, right? Men, we can tell when a man is serious, right? We can read men better than women can read men. Even though women think they can read men better, they can't. We can tell when a man is a con artist. We can tell when a man is making big promises he can't deliver. We can protect women from men. We could protect our daughters if we still had the power to choose. We could protect them from a lot of guys who aren't so serious, and filter out the men they'd actually be good with, right? Women can't really do that. They go based on what feels right, what feels good emotionally. They can't really read if a man is serious, if a man actually has the things he says he does. They can't really do background checks like really dig into if he's really what he talks about, if he's really who he says he is. So that creates this system, right, where we have 80% of women chasing the top 20% of men. They're not chasing the top 20% of men that have integrity and have resources but would actually make good fathers and husbands, right? That's not what the top 20% of men is. And I know this because I am one of the top 20% of men. All being the top 20% of men is he's handsome, he's popular, he looks like he's fun, he looks like he's wild, he looks like he's a bad boy, he looks like he can rock my world in bed. He has like the right social status, it's like superficial top 20% qualities, but you're not really the top 20% of men. You're just the top 20% of men that makes them feel good, makes them tingle inside, it's wild and exciting, but it's superficial. See, back in the day, most men could have a wife because most men back then and most men now were responsible, right? So when the father would choose a husband for his daughter, more men were getting married because more men, were coming to the table responsibly, and there was more to go around. There wasn't this 80% of women chasing the top 20% of men, and then 80% of women end up alone and miserable and divorced. That wasn't happening back in the day. Back in the day, there was enough women to go around for everybody because the fathers were choosing who their daughters, married. And if the man presented himself correctly and he looked like he was a responsible, hardworking man who had resources and potential to work and be a, good father and husband, he would give him his daughter. And that worked out better. And here's the thing, women, when they were given to these men, they developed attraction over time, right? Because they didn't have a history of banging bad boys. So this is most likely the first man they've ever slept with. So they're going to be imprinted to appreciate a hardworking, responsible, man. They're going to be, when that's the first man you sleep with, that sets the tone for what you're going to be attracted to for the rest of your life. So they're going to be attracted to that man as long as he keeps being those things, responsible, hardworking, good father, good provider. And of course, he's going to be able to keep it up. So everybody wins, right? So there was no 80% chasing 20%, it was 50-50. Everyone, for the most part, is getting what they wanted. Now, when you give women the power to decide who they're going to marry and who they're going to date, and I'll do a video on the topic of dating and why it's actually bad for both genders, right? But like I said, when you give women the power to choose who they're going to sleep with, who they're going to marry, whatever, they don't screen men out the way men do, right? So they can't tell if he's a player, an F-boy, whatever. They're going to be like, oh, he's fun, he's handsome, he looks like we could have a good time together, I'll date him for a few months, or I'll sleep with him, or whatever. And they end up burning themselves because those men aren't what you need. She needs that stable long-term guy. Women really get screwed in the head, when they keep getting passed around from bad boy to bad boy. It really just spoils them forever. A responsible man, here's I'm going to give you guys an analogy, right? Women are like milk, okay? If you leave them out in the sun for a few hours, they spoil, and then they're never drinkable ever again, right? A good man is like an ice-cold refrigerator. A good, responsible, hard-working man is like an ice-cold refrigerator. You want to take that milk instantly and put it in that ice-cold refrigerator. You don't want it sitting out in the sun for a couple hours, meaning the girl who bangs bad boys for 5-10 years, spoiled, the milk is rotten, and then you put it in that fridge, meaning that responsible man. It doesn't matter if you put it in the fridge at that point. Spoiled milk is spoiled milk. You don't unspoil it. So back in the day, like when the responsible guy would come along, right, and the woman has never slept with anyone, and the dad gives her to that responsible guy, it's like putting the ice-cold milk in the fridge. Brand new, unopened bottle of milk in the fridge, That's like how it was supposed to be. These days, you've got these women who have been sitting in the sun for 10, 12 hours, meaning banging bad boys for 5, 10, 15 years. Then that responsible guy comes along when she's around 32, 35, and I guess the milk gets put in the fridge, but that milk is way spoiled, way past its expiration date. It's ruined. There's no point at that point. And that's what happens when you give women the choice to choose who they want to date and marry. It's like they're out running around in the sun, getting spoiled. The milk is getting spoiled, if she's the milk. Banging bad boys, messing around, having these little 3-month relationships, having these little 2-year relationships, wasting her prime years, messing up herself psychologically. And then, she finds some reliable beta, not even like a good, honest alpha male reliable guy, because there are responsible alphas, but like some beta male, and you put the milk in the fridge and it's just rotten, So that's why you have the 80-20. That's why you have only 20% of men getting laid, because those 80% of women, they don't know how to chase the right qualities. They chase superficial qualities, right? Women need their fathers to pick their husbands for them, because their fathers know how to see the deep qualities in a man. They know how to see the long-term qualities in a man that a woman isn't going to be able to appreciate until after she's been with him for a while. And she says, oh, this is why my father picked this man for me, because he actually knows how to take care of me. He actually knows how to take care of the kids. He actually knows how to handle all the business. This is why my father gave me to this guy. But see, women never even get to have that oh wow moment. They never get to have that realization, because they're picking the wrong guys their entire life because they don't know how to pick. Women will go after superficial qualities. So they're never going to have that moment of like, oh wow, this is why I'm with that guy. They're never going to have that realization. So it's all just kind of screwed. Women were not meant to pick the men they marry. They were not meant to pick the men they sleep with. And they're really not meant to be dating either. And you can call this old school, you can call this misogynistic, chauvinistic, whatever, but this stuff worked back in the day, okay? There's a reason why this worked, and there's a reason why what's going on today isn't working, okay? There's a reason why women are more miserable than they've ever been in history right now. Okay, they have iPhones, they have sports cars, they have their own apartments, they have comfortable office jobs, and they're more miserable than a woman in the 1500s that was churning butter, okay, in like her, Benjamin Franklin blouse outfit, whatever the hell. Those women back then were happier than these women that have everything now. And there's a reason for that, because they don't know how to choose men. They need their father to pick their men for them. So that's really the moral of the story, guys. She was not meant to pick her partner.